My father sold me, not with chains, with a WhatsApp message. Amara, your introduction date is set. Derek Mensah is coming. I have hired the best negotiator in Accra to represent our family. I read it 3 times. Then I called my mother. Mom, what? She laughed. Actually laughed. I had never met Derek Mensah. I had seen his Instagram. Too many suits, too much cologne, captions like built different. The man was not built different, he was built annoying. But fine, my father was serious. The introduction ceremony was in 3 weeks, and apparently this negotiator was some kind of legend. I told myself I didn't care. Then he walked through our front door on a Thursday afternoon, and everything I told myself became a lie. 6'2", fitted white shirt, tailored black trousers, Oxford shoes so clean they looked painted, low fade, slow walk, quiet eyes scanning the room like he owned the ceiling. He looked at me once, just once. Then he looked away like I was furniture. I felt personally attacked. My mother touched my arm and whispered, "Close your mouth, Amara." My mouth was not open, probably. His name was Kwame Asante, professional bride price negotiator, my father's secret weapon. The problem was he was supposed to be working for my family. Nobody told my heart that. Kwame sat across from my father like he had done this 8,000 times. Because he had. He had a thin leather folder, a pen he clicked exactly twice before speaking, and this voice, low, steady, the kind that makes you lean forward without knowing why. "Mr. Ose," he said, "tell me everything about your daughter." My father opened his mouth and I prepared for embarrassment. Amara has a master's degree. She runs her own logistics company. She speaks 3 languages. She cooks, she is respectful, she is beautiful. I blinked. My father never said any of that out loud. Ever. Kwame wrote something down. Then he looked at me, briefly, professionally. "And what does she want?" The room went quiet. My father frowned. "What does she want? She wants a good husband." "No." Kwame's pen stopped. "What does she want in a marriage?" My father looked at me like it was a puzzle he had never thought to solve. My mother smiled behind her teacup. I stared at Kwame Asante and thought, this man is dangerous. Not because he was handsome, because he asked the right questions. He looked at me again. "You can answer." My brain said words. My mouth said, "I want someone who listens." He wrote it down. Then he clicked his pen, twice, and smiled. Just a little. Just enough. I needed air. Kwame came back 4 times that week. 4 times. Each time, crisp shirt, tucked in, different color but same energy, completely unbothered and completely unaware that he was destroying my peace. He came to review documents, meet extended family, discuss the ceremony structure. Apparently, professional bride price negotiation was a whole career with whole steps. I did not know this. On his 3rd visit, I brought out drinks because my mother conveniently disappeared. He said, "Thank you." I said, "You're welcome." He looked at his folder. I looked at my slippers. Then he said without looking up, "Your father is asking for too much." I blinked. "Sorry?" "Derek's family will push back hard on the list. Your father added a 2nd refrigerator and a generator in 2024. I almost choked. He did what? He said, and I quote, "She has a master's degree. The generator is a fair addition." I sat down, on the floor, spiritually. Kwame watched me with those quiet eyes. "I'll manage it. That's my job. Your job is to represent us or embarrass us." He smiled, slow, controlled, like he rationed his smiles. Both, sometimes. I laughed before I could stop myself. He looked surprised, like my laugh caught him off guard. Good, we were even. Day 11 of Kwame visiting my family home. He now knew where the good cups were kept. He knew my father preferred his water warm. He knew my mother's favorite topic was real estate and would talk for 40 minutes if you started her. And somehow, he knew I took my coffee with oat milk and no sugar. I never told him this. I watched him set a cup in front of me one morning and said, "How did you know?" He sat down, opened his folder. I pay attention. It's my job. Your job is bride price negotiation, not my coffee. Context is everything in negotiation. I studied the whole house. I stared at him. You studied me? He didn't answer. He just clicked his pen. Twice. I decided I hated that pen. That same afternoon, Derek Mensah called me directly. First time ever. His voice was loud and confident, the kind that fills a room and somehow still says nothing. Amara, your people have a generator on the list. Is your father okay? I opened my mouth. Kwame, sitting 3 feet away reviewing papers, quietly held up one finger. Wait. I closed my mouth. He was right. Don't react. Don't give Derek power. Afterwards, I asked, how did you know what he said? Kwame just looked at me. Because I know men like Derek. The way he said it felt like a warning. My mother pulled me into the kitchen on a Tuesday and closed the door like we were planning a heist. Amara. Mom? That Kwame boy. I turned to the sink. What about him? He watches you when you're not looking. I scrubbed a plate that was already clean. He watches everything. He said so. Context, negotiation, professional habit. My mother sat on the kitchen stool with the posture of a woman who knew exactly what she was doing. Stop saying I didn't say anything. You said that's something. She smiled and adjusted her silk head wrap. Derek called your father this morning. He wants to fast-track the ceremony date. He's pushing for next month. My stomach dropped. That's too soon. Kwame pushed back, said the family needed more time for proper process. Your father agreed. I set the plate down. Kwame pushed back. Yes, interesting, isn't it? Not a question, a statement, with her eyes doing that thing mother's eyes do when they already know the ending of a story. He's just doing his job. Amara. She stood up, patted my cheek. Nobody irons their shirt that carefully just to do a job. She walked out. I stood in the kitchen alone. That evening, Kwame stayed an hour longer than necessary. Neither of us mentioned it. The first formal meeting between both families happened on a Saturday. Derek arrived in a convoy, 3 cars. His uncle wore a hat with a feather. His mother looked at our house like she was calculating its resale value. I wore a green wrap dress and my gold-cuffed braids freshly redone. I told myself I dressed up for the occasion. My mother said nothing, just smiled. Kwame arrived early, navy blue fitted shirt, sharper than usual. He reviewed the list one last time at our dining table, and when he looked up and saw me, he paused. Half a second, less, but I saw it. You look ready, he said. I am, I said. He nodded and looked back at his folder, but the back of his neck did something. I think he was doing the same thing I was doing, pretending. The meeting started fine. Then Derek's uncle challenged every single item on the list with the energy of a man who wanted war. Kwame stayed calm, completely calm. He counted everything with facts, figures, family tradition, regional custom. He was brilliant. Derek kept interrupting. Kwame ignored it every time. Clean, professional. Then Derek looked at me and said, loud enough for the room, "She's pretty, but is she worth all this?" The room froze. Kwame's pen stopped. Nobody moved. My father's eye twitched. My mother set down her teacup slowly, which in our house meant someone was about to get dealt with. Derek's mother coughed. His uncle adjusted his feathered hat, and Kwame put his pen down, flat on the table, looked up at Derek with those quiet eyes. With respect, he said, voice even, calm, the temperature of cool water. We're not discussing worth. Worth isn't on any list I've seen. What's on this list are gifts, acknowledgements, tradition. He paused. And the woman in question has a master's degree, runs a registered company, speaks 3 languages, and still showed up today with grace, while your side of the table has used the word worth in reference to a person. So perhaps we recalibrate. Silence. Derek blinked. His uncle's feather stopped moving. My father looked at Kwame like he had just watched someone score a goal in slow motion. My mother picked up her teacup and took a long, satisfied sip. I looked at my hands because if I looked at Kwame, I was going to feel something I was not ready to file paperwork for. Derek laughed awkwardly. I was just joking. Kwame picked his pen back up, clicked it twice. Let's continue. After the meeting, I found him alone on the veranda. I said, "Thank you." He said, "I was just doing my job." We both knew that was not entirely true. 2 days after the meeting, Derek called my father. He wanted to cancel, said the process was too complicated and the family was too proud. My father called me immediately, voice shaking with a mix of anger and something that sounded almost like relief. "Derek is pulling out." I waited for the panic. It didn't come. What came instead was this quiet, terrible clarity, like a window being cleaned and suddenly you can see outside perfectly. I wasn't sad. I was free. I called Kwame. Don't ask me why, my fingers just dialed. He picked up on the second ring. "I heard," he said. "How?" Derek's uncle called to formally withdraw. Standard process. "Are you at the office?" "Yes." "I'm coming." Silence. Then, "Amara, I'm not coming to cause trouble. I stopped, breathed. "I need to say something to you that has nothing to do with bride price or Derek or any list." Longer silence. "Okay," he said. I drove 30 minutes across the city in traffic with my braids tied up and my heart doing something embarrassing in my chest. When I walked into his office, he was standing. Already standing, like he had been standing since I called. We looked at each other. "Say it," he said. I said, "I think I like you." Flat, clean, no drama. Kwame looked at me for a long time. Long enough that I started mentally calculating how far the door was. Then he said, "I stopped being objective about this case on day 4. Day 4. The day he brought me coffee. "That's a problem," I said. "Professionally, yes. And personally?" He almost smiled. "Personally, it's the best problem I've had in years." We stood there in his office with his neat shelves and his leather folder on the desk and the city noise outside, and absolutely nothing was happening except everything. Then my phone rang. My father. I showed Kwame the screen. He looked at it, then at me. "Answer it. He will lose his mind." He hired me because I'm good with difficult situations. I laughed, answered, "Amara, I have another man in mind already. My colleague's son, very responsible, just returned from Canada." "Daddy," I looked at Kwame. Kwame looked back. "I need to tell you something." "What?" Deep breath. "It's about your negotiator." My father went very, very quiet. Then, Nana, come here now." I heard my mother in the background. She wasn't running. She was walking calmly because she already knew. She always knew. My father did not speak to Kwame for 11 days. 11 days of silence, dramatic sighing, and eating his meals with the energy of a man betrayed by the universe. On day 12, Kwame came to the house. He did not call ahead. He arrived in his clean Oxford shoes and his fitted shirt, with his leather folder, and he sat down in front of my father. He said, "Sir, I came to apologize for the conflict of interest and to ask permission to do this properly." My father stared at him. "I have a practice, a reputation, a plan. I am not a situation. I am a person who, with your blessing, would like to begin the right conversation." Silence. My mother appeared from nowhere with tea. She had definitely been listening from the hallway. My father looked at his tea, looked at Kwame, looked at me standing by the door in my jeans and block heels and gold cuffed braids. He said, "You know she's not easy." Kwame said, "I know. I've reviewed all available evidence." My father made a sound, somewhere between a laugh and a groan. My mother sat down and crossed her legs and looked like she had directed this entire movie from the beginning. Because she had. 6 months later, Kwame sat across from my family again. Same folder, same pen, different list, his own. Moral lessons. 1. Love has no schedule. It arrives when it arrives, even when you plan for something else entirely. 2. A person who asks what you want, not just what is expected of you, is rare. Keep them. 3. Respect is the foundation. Kwame defended Amara without being asked. That is not charm, that is character. 5. Mothers always know. Always. 6. The right person will come through the front door properly. No shortcuts, no side entrances. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment. Which chapter had you most hooked? Like and subscribe to this channel. Share this story. Someone needs to read it today.